guitar is fun for an individual like myself who enjoys the finer arts in life. It makes for a really good pastime, hobby, and for me personally, a passion that I hope to pursue even further as I progress in life. The neat part about guitar is it's shared across many genres. Whether you like slow country music or you're an absolute thrash metal fanatic, most genres will use a guitar of some kind. At least the popular ones, the ones that are widely well known and people think of when it first comes to mind. Without further ado, let's get into the specifics on how music on a guitar is made. The most successful artists in the music industry follow what is called music theory, basically the rules of how to make music. Music theory applies to all music, but it's done differently depending on the genre. For example, blues music is known as the root of most genres such as, like I said, metal, country, etc. What is music theory, you may ask? Music theory is the study of the theoretical framework or possibilities in music, in definition. Basically, in short, it's a good guideline on how one can make good music that sounds objectively good. For example, what I mean by objectively good is like the three most basic blues notes. Now, I can't imagine anybody would be like banging their head to that or absolutely jamming to it, but to anyone's ears, I'm sure it can be agreed upon that those notes sound good. They don't hurt the ears and they don't make you want to rip your hair out. Music is, however, still subjective, and there's many ways to make notes sound good. Even notes like that, like you can add some distortion to it. Without further ado, let's get into the 7 scales of guitar, because that's, at least as far as guitars go, is how music is made. So let's dive right into it. The 7 scales on guitar through music theory is the major scale, the minor scale, the harmonic minor scale, the melodic minor scale, the pentatonic scales, the blues scale, and the modes. It's basically a bunch of different scales that combine together to help add emotion to music, but we'll get into that in a bit. Due to time constraints, I'm not going to be able to cover all of them, so let's focus on the ones that you mainly would hear in metal music, because it's my speech and I like metal music. One of the first scales I ever learned was the pentatonic scales. The pentatonic scales are very important to many musicians, whether you're into metal or not, because it's a vastly well-known scale, and many beginners use it when they first start to learn theory, if they even bother. Some examples of famous musicians that use the pentatonic scale, even to this day, are like Kirk Hammett of Metallica and Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, and that's just to name a few. I can go on a whole rant about that. Pentatonic means there's 5 scales, or 5 notes in a scale. There's a major pentatonic scale and a minor pentatonic scale. I'll demonstrate both as such. See how it sounds happy there? That's because it's major, which is supposed to be happy. Now here's the minor. So that one sounds a little more sad, but that again is because it is minor. Many songs use the pentatonic scale, like for example, like I was playing Enter Sandman and Symphony of Destruction by Megadeth. So the modes, like I said earlier, are a lot of scales that combine together to make moods. Like you can make happy sounds or somber sounds. For example, the Dorian scale is a sad sounding scale. We call that the 2 in the modes. It's the second mode that is listed among the 7. And it's a sadder sounding sound. However, you can bring some jazziness into it if you use it correctly. For example, the intro to Tornado of Souls by Megadeth is a great example because the opening riff is just quite literally playing around on the Dorian scale, like such. And each mode can bring a different unique sound to the song, and the most brilliant minds in music theory certainly use the modes, I would argue almost as much as the pentatonic scale. As much as I would love to keep going about music, I am on a time budget here. I could spend hours on this topic. It's my passion. But that was just a very basic lesson on just some of the scales. They're basically how your favorite artist became famous. Everyone has to know at least some theory to get somewhere, for the most part, I would say. For now, that is all, my friends.